Hi, I'm John Turner, the Director of Mortgages for BMO Bank of Montreal, and I'm pleased to be hosting the first episode in our Ask an Expert series, where we bring industry experts from across the country to provide tips and advice to Canadians to make money make sense. Buying your home is a pretty big deal, likely the largest investment you'll make in your whole life. With that in mind, we've brought real estate expert Don Lobby, the President and CEO of Century 21 Canada, to get some advice and tips from him and his experience in the real estate side of the business. Tip 1, practice makes perfect. Invariably, when I sit down with a customer for the first time, one of the tips that I provide them is to think about what your mortgage payment's going to be, and if you're renting today, and that rent is going to be $1,200 and your rent's $800, you might want to bank the $4 difference. So you're actually practicing for that mortgage. And so when I met with Don Lobby last week, I asked him a similar question about practicing for that inevitable reality of when you buy that home, you're going to have a mortgage. So let's see what Don had to say.
Well, I think that first-time home buyers currently are paying rent unless they're living at home. And so they're used to paying for accommodation. The issue will always be, are they willing to cover all of the costs associated with home ownership? And the only way they can make an educated decision on that is to have somebody, a realtor or a mortgage lender, explain all of the variables with home ownership. Maybe they'll take a gulp, but at some point they're going to want to get into the marketplace.
When you buy a house, you need a down payment, and one way to do that is to save up for it. And so there are a couple of tips and strategies that you can employ to help you get there. In my first tip, paying a little bit extra in that phantom mortgage that I talked about is one way to do it. One way to make sure that you do it is to set up an automatic savings plan. When I spoke to Don recently, this is what he had to say about that.
An individual or a couple or family make a decision that they ever want to move into a home. They have no alternative but to start to save. There's many vehicles available through, RSPs if they're first-time buyer, all of those sort of things. But the issue is they have to come up with a 5% down payment, and they have to come up with enough funds to cover closing costs. And that varies from 1.5% to 2%. Always have a buffer, because there's always going to be something that's unexpected. Yeah, you really don't want to be house rich and penny poor. And so it's better to allocate some money when you're making your first home purchase. You also can approach your family with regards to gifted money to you to assist you with your home purchase. But you can't get in for nothing down.
Tip 3, I call this the A-team tip. When you build a house, you need a team of professionals to help build it. And when you're going to buy a house, you want to make sure you bring a team of experts and professionals together to make sure that you get the best house, the best overall package and plan to help you get to where it is that you want to get to in the financial future. And so when I spoke with Don, this is what he had to say about that.
Well, I think the first two is a lender, be it Bank of Montreal or a mortgage broker that you're comfortable with, that take you from A to Z in what happens in a mortgage. Go through it all, the various types of product that are available in the market. Find a realtor that will take the time, has the patience to really explain to you the buying process. And they're going to introduce you to a lawyer who's going to protect your interest. It's going to make sure that the mortgage the bank grants gets applied properly on your property and that you're protected. And today, you want a really good home inspector. Somebody that's going to go and look at your home, not give it a once-over, but really tell you if there are any deficiencies. Because you're going in there, generally speaking, with limited knowledge on construction, that sort of thing. you need a team of specialists. You're going to end up asking for a survey certificate, or you're going to have to acquire a surveyor that's going to make sure that the home you're buying is on the property in a proper fashion, that you're not infringing against some coordinates by some rules that the city have. It is a complicated process. And the other expert is the insurance expert that's going to help you to insure your home and the contents against fire, flood, earthquake, depending on the area you're in. These are all people that will join your team. And usually it is the banker or the lender that will do the introduction to the players that will participate in this transaction. But always ask, why are you recommending this company, this individual? And when you meet them, ask for their references. And just because somebody gives you a name, make sure you're dealing with the people in that firm that you want to deal with, because it's your money, you're the customer. This is a complex transaction.
Tip 4. It's called know before you go. In other words, sit down with your mortgage specialist, sit down with your Bank of Montreal lender, and get pre-approved. What that does is a couple of things. Allows you to go out and shop with confidence, that you know that you have a mortgage that'll help you buy that house. The other important factor with interest rates is that the pre-approved mortgage guarantees your rate over 90 days. And so when I sat down with Don, this is what he had to say about that.
Well, I think in some cases it depends on the realtor. When the lender enters the transaction, I definitely believe that a homeowner needs a pre-approval. It's imperative, especially in changing times. With interest rates fluctuating, if you get a pre-approval, you can lock in the interest rate. At the same time, if it goes down, you can acquire the current lower interest rate. But if it goes up, you've locked in an interest rate. And I think it is important to know that when you're negotiating for a home, that there's a lender behind you that says, if the home qualifies, we've already verified you qualify, and you can purchase this home.
Tip 5. Pay as you get paid. Pay your mortgage as you get paid. So when your paycheck shows up every 2 weeks, set your mortgage to be paid every 2 weeks. Or do it weekly if you get paid weekly. And if you do it accelerated, you can pay off your mortgage years sooner, and guess what? You'll save thousands of dollars in interest. When I sat down with Don, this is what he had to say about that.
What I've seen over my career in this industry is that many first-time home buyers start out with, they reach for the top of what they can afford. And so they pay their monthly payment. Sometimes they will divide it depending on the facilities that are available from the lender. If they can do it and coordinate it with their paychecks, they'll do that. But I think as time moves on, what I've noticed is home buyers all of a sudden start to decide to reduce the cost of interest, and they increase the amount that they're making payments to on their mortgage, either on a monthly basis, semi-annually basis, or making a lump sum payment to get that interest down. Because over a period of 25 years, if all you're paying is one fixed payment a month, and the interest rate hasn't varied, and you don't make any adjustments, there's a lot of interest. But I think bankers and lenders are very good at explaining the situation to the homeowner, and homeowners are paying attention to wanting to get away from debt.
I hope you enjoyed our first episode in the Ask an Expert series. Don Lobby provided some great tips and advice about the home buying process. If you have any further questions, please visit bmo.com, drop by a local branch, or set up an appointment with a mobile mortgage specialist, and they can help you. I'm John Turner, the Director of Mortgages for BMO Bank of Montreal, and I'm pleased to be with you here today.